Munasi, Numisa, Richard, Rina, Tulani, Vusi, Makwela, Waynand, and who else? Who did I leave out? And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our lecture for the day. Let's continue with our marketing. I hope we are all ready. Are we good?
Yes, we're good.
We are good. We're good.
Sure. Yaku, were you here yesterday?
I only joined later during the session because I was still busy with a customer until about 6 o'clock. So I couldn't join from 5, but I did catch the last small piece. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. Waynand, how are you doing today? Waynand?
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, let's continue. Are we ready? Okay. All right. Good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to maybe quickly go up a little bit. Just as a reminder, we are focusing on marketing, which is part of real estate practice. Basically, we are understanding the business of real estate. Just hold on. Just choking. Love. Can somebody close the door? Sorry. My apology for that. Okay, so we are focusing on marketing, which is of the business of real estate or real estate in practice. Basically, is the understanding of how do we implement real estate in practice. So just want to, we started with the process. Where is that? Okay, sorry. Yeah, here we go. We started with the marketing planning process, basically, or what we call the process of marketing plan, which begins by step 1, business review, step 2, problems and opportunities. So you basically identify the problem, what are we solving, and what is the opportunity. And then we look at step 3, which is the sales objectives. What do we want to be what type of sales do we want to achieve? Number 4, we look at target markets and marketing objectives. Sure. And then step number 5, we look at the plan strategies. What is the plan and how are we going to be able to execute it? Step number 6, we've touched on communication goals. And step number 7, I think that's where we ended last night, which is target marketing tool mix. So basically, we look at the different tool mix that are there, and specifically, we look at the 7 P's of marketing. So we'll touch a bit on. I think it's an interesting and a fascinating part of marketing. There was a question of whether the 7 P's still work in this day and age. It's something that was introduced literally more than 60 years ago. Is it still relevant? And we can touch on some of that and see how does it really relate. I'm hoping that today we can really talk and see how do we bring this to real estate, and how do we, what is the practical ways we can be able to market real estate, what works and what doesn't work. Yesterday we explored some of the companies like your lead home that we're looking at. This is a real estate. So if you look at some of that, you'll understand that there are different approaches as life evolve, as people change the way their taste and the way they perceive things. Is there a better approach to marketing than what used to happen a few years ago? So we'll touch on a bit of that. I hope we can be able to have more time to discuss. So step number 8, so we'll start on step number 7. We'll touch step number 8, which is budget, payback analysis, the calendar. Step number 8, which is the execution of the whole plan or the whole strategy. And then step number 10, we evaluate whether what we have implemented is working or not. So let's jump straight to today. We'll go right, just bear with me. Where we were yesterday. So in the back of your mind, I want you to think about when we look at all your marketing mix tools. So these are the marketing mix tools. We have product, which is the big 4, which are the main ones. The marketing mix is a combination of elements that go to frame the marketing strategy for a company in relation to products and services. It helps them to be able to achieve their marketing goal. And the traditional marketing mix that we have is your product, your place, your price, your promotion. Then we've added the 3, which is process, physical environment, and people. Process, physical environment, and people. So these are the 7 P's. You should always remember the first 4: product, your place, your price, and your promotion. And then what comes, the next one is process, physical environment, and people. Now, we've already touched on the other ones, and we were on, I think, I'm not sure if we did promotion. Okay, right, we were on here on advertising. So, which is part of promotion. Maybe let's start. Now that you have decided to market or position, position, price and distribute, or sell or promote your product, you are ready to prepare the advertising segment of your marketing plan. We know that advertising can build awareness and positive attitude towards a product, but it can also move the target to action to buy the product. So the ultimate goal of marketing or even advertising is to ensure that people are able to buy the product. So there's no point in it's not just about marketing it or advertising it for people to know about it. They need to be able to be enticed or convinced to be able to make the decision to ultimately buy. And that's why we market, that's why we advertise any products. It is the most visible way to communicate a marketing message. This is advertising. There are a wide variety of ways in which the message can be conveyed. For instance, we have print, television, radio, outdoor, and the internet, which has different aspects, your social media, your website, and yeah, there's a whole lot of those. This in a way, this is a way, one way one way form of communication that is targeted at specific audience and takes place in order to advertise the property to buyers that have been mandated to the agency, or to convey the agency's culture and the message to the potential seller. These are the process for creating an advertising message. We define your advertising objective, prepare your message strategy, cues testing, and detail what will go into the execution. So in essence, your advertising objectives will entail you increase an unaided awareness among the target market from 18% to 25%, for instance. Establish a leadership image with 25% of the target market. So that will be, you can see that the advertising objective is very clear, what you are supposed to achieve and a specific number in terms of the percentage. So if you say establish a leadership image with 25% of the target market, so ultimately we should be able to count, to be able to see that we have reached the target that we're looking for. And I mean, advertising has evolved in such a way that even still billboards, you see billboards that you see on the road and all that, that are not necessarily electronic ones, the normal old billboards. You can be able to, now there are devices that can be able to count the number of cars that are passing through that billboard, so that and that is used backwards. They are able to now go back to the person or the companies and say, these are the number of people. If we put your advert in this particular place, these are the number of cars that are going to pass there. These are the number of people that are going to pass there. Television, for instance, there are companies that specifically will tell you how many viewers are there at a specific time. And I don't know, maybe you can, anyone who's aware, how many, which one is the highest on TV, which show is the highest, has the highest viewership? Can I hear if anyone knows? On television in South Africa, do you know which shows have the highest viewership? Ladies and gentlemen,
Most.
Yes.
When I was still watching TV, it was Felicia. I don't know if it's still the same.
Okay, maybe I'm the only one who's laughing. Felicia Subtle show, yeah, it used to, I'm not sure if it was the highest, but yeah, it used to have some good following. Current, what do you think?
Hey Moses.
Yes.
Yes, man. The last time I checked, I think it was about last year. You know, on SABC, it was this other drama. What do they call it? Uzalo. You know,
Yes.
as the drama that has overtaken Generations. Remember, in the first place, Generations was was the show that, or should I say, was the soap that had higher viewership. So, but.
Yeah.
As for this year, I'm not quite sure of the rate, but the last time I checked, it was Uzalo, and it also won awards, you know, based on the high viewership. I mean, based on the high audience.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
A quick Google is to confirm what Mr. Karen saying. Indeed, it's Uzalo with 9.8 million viewers.
Thank you. Is that Vus?
Yes.
Thank you, Vus. Indeed. So you can understand that with the type of viewership, any advertisement that plays at that time, it's got lots of eyes looking at it, or eyeballs, if you were to put it that way. So that's very important. Whether it drives the message across, it's a different story. But you can't play around. You get to put an advert in that slot, you definitely need to be sure what you need to, your message is going to communicate. One of the biggest, the companies which is well known for advertising and is very good, it's Nando's. They are on everywhere, literally on Twitter and all that. They align their messages with politics or breaking stories. Everybody gets to be able to laugh about it. The other day, I was laughing with my cousin about there's an advert that says, "What are chicken nuggets?" Which part of the chicken are chicken nuggets? That's Nando's for you. So advertising, it's critical to be able to, somewhere, somehow, there must be a way to be able to count and be able to tell how many people are you reaching, so that, and that's important. Ultimately, the vision is to say it must drive people to get to be able to buy the product. Okay. And thank you for that. I think it's interesting. For those who watch soccer, you would think that soccer is the biggest one. Unfortunately, not. I think those who follow soapies seem to be many than those who follow soccer. The process of creating an advertising message would involve define your advertising objectives. You prepare your message strategy, your cues, as we said, and detail what is going to go into the execution. The message strategy is a combination of elements. Who are you talking to? Define your target market thoroughly. So it has to be clear, the target market. The point, what is your point? Develop your message, not the slogan and clever image, but what you want to say to the target market. So this is very critical, because there are certain products, if you were to put them on Izalo advert, if you were to advertise that product on Izalo, you probably would have missed the target. You play, it's a, maybe if golf, there's a golf match, you would realize that they will probably advertise high-end products on that particular, in that particular show. It may not have the highest viewership, but it's got the right target market, and that's very important. So who, point, word. Word would be identify the most important word in your message. Is it quality? Is it service? Family friendly, hip or cool? What exactly is the word that we want to communicate across? Care. Why should I care? What is it in for me? When I watch that advertisement, what does it matter to me? If it's something that will never speak to me, maybe it's not the right message in the first place. Believe. Why should I believe you? Who else supports you? How do you know this is true? So this is very important. Your message must literally be believable. Feel. How does it make me feel? How should I feel about it? What emotions? What emotion is foremost? So if it evokes, they say the easiest way to get somebody to buy into something is to involve emotions. So if it does not evoke emotions, you would find that maybe it won't necessarily convince many people. So emotions, how does it make someone feel? That's critical. What do you want me to do about it? Specific. Should I visit the store, the website, buy the CD, eat more fruit from your store, buy my vitamin from you, wear your jeans, things like that. If it does not inspire action, maybe the message is not good enough. Ultimately, it needs to be able to inspire action. What should I do about it after watching that? So if it does not tell me where I need to go, for instance, if we talk about an advertisement on a website or on social media, there must be a place where I'm able to click. When I click, does it take me to a website? Do I go through some form that will wind me up until I forget and lose interest? Those are some of the things your message should be able to communicate. There is an activity here which looks at all those points that we're looking at. Who, point, word, care, believe, feel, and do. So action must be, who is the target market? What is your point? What word message do you want to communicate? Why should I care? Is it believable? How does it make me feel? What should I do at the end of the day? That is very important in your advertising message. So The next one after advertising is merchandising. Merchandising is a tangible communication link between your product and the consumer. It is the method used to communicate products information, promotions, and special events, and to reinforce advertising through non-media communication vehicles. Merchandising is a way to make a virtual or a visual or written statement about your company and may include brochures, video presentations, banners, posters, shelf talkers, table tents, things like that. All of these are used to communicate products, attribute, positioning, pricing, and promotion. Remember those mix, right? Positioning, pricing, and promotion information. So we use merchandising to be able to do that. It's amazing that if you look at movies, for instance, and I'm using probably examples that are a bit far from real estate. They are easier. When you come back to real estate, one will be able to understand. Are you aware that a franchise like Lion King, one of the biggest ways that they make money, it's actually through merchandising. It's through those T-shirts that you buy for actually Disney as a whole. It makes more money through merchandising. Those Spider-Man, those Mickey, Minnie, and all those things, those T-shirts, they put them in bottles and all those kind of things. That's how they make more money. They create more messages go across through that way. You know how kids can force you to be able to buy something, even if you may not even understand what the product is all about. But once a kid says, I want it, one way or another, they will allow you to, you will end up being able to pay. And that's how they push their message across. That's how they merchandise. The next one is public relations. The main objective is to communicate perceptions regarding the agency to the public. The distribution of press releases to the media is an important tool towards improving public relations by communicating the desired message to potential clients of the estate agency. Very important, public relations. There is a story now happening. I don't know if you guys are aware of the lady in Tabeleng who's on a quest to be able to start the first mutual bank owned by women. They are busy raising money, 5 billion rand. Believe public relation has been a disaster. She's been responding to questions on social media. It has not been doing very well. So sometimes really to have people who specialize in public relations, it helps because they know exactly how to be able to communicate your press conferences, things like that. They are not just done haphazardly because you are the face and the lead. They could probably have the right message to communicate to the people that you are trying to convince. So public relations is very critical when it comes to your marketing mix tools. Consider adding PR to your marketing mix if any of the following applies to your business. You want to improve the brand reputation and credibility from awareness to loyalty. Critical. So people can be aware of your product. They could be using it, but you want them to get to a place where they are loyal. Whatever it takes, they won't move. They will stay with the product or particular brand. You need to communicate with a variety of audiences. So that's important. When a product has a vast audience, you need to be able to know how to have a proper PR. Your customers do not believe advertising as easily as before. Your product or service is complex, technical, new, or it's even unique in the market. You want to add value to an existing product through additional information. You face potential damaging issues of diseases that must be information managed. You are going to introduce a new product. You are going into a new product partnership. So this is very important. I wanted to use another example, which, I thought people will think, hey, this guy watches TV. So I don't watch TV. I watch a lot of different things now, YouTube and all that, Showmax and Netflix, that they give a different variety. But anyway, World Wide Web, the web always, any question maybe so far before we move to media? Any question, any comment so far on the different things that we've looked at? We've looked at your promotion. We've looked at your merchandising. We've looked at your PR, which is public relations. Any questions so far or comment? Anyone? Venetia. Venetia.
Hello.
What do you think?
I don't have anything to say as yet.
Okay.
They're all familiar methods or means of marketing, and yeah.
Okay.
I don't have anything to say. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Who else? Richard.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. There's a bit of an echo. If I would say
It's from
please
my
switch off
side.
your
Okay.
radio.
I don't have any questions, but thank you so much for the information that you've just shared. It's really useful.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Richard. All right. All right. Okay, so we go to media. So there are different mediums, if you were to say, World Wide Web or the internet. It's one of them. The web allows for a cheap way of promoting your products. It is a great tool because it allows the target customers to educate themselves about your product by reading about it, seeing a demo, for instance. A software company downloads a copy and therefore serve as your distribution channel, trying to reduce the perceived risk of purchasing your product by providing a web page. You are moving you are moving the target market through the communication cycle from unawareness to purchase, trying to reach innovators and early adopters. These people are actively searching for better ways to meet their needs. The web is a natural place for them to go to look for for products. The difficulty with the web is all of this noise that are there. It is very crowded, and sometimes it's very difficult to be able to notice. Register with all the search engines such as Yahoo, Google, making sure that there are keywords in the web, in the website that attracts the target audience. So some of these things is what they call SOE, or search engine optimization, or or SEO. Yeah, that's the right word, or search optimization engine. Oh yeah, I'm confusing the word, but it's basically optimizing your search so that you use specific keywords such that if it's in a website, if somebody Googles your website, they should be able to find it at the top. Is the first thing that they should be able to find. So whoever is designing the website, your website, they should be able to do it in such a way that it's well optimized and your keywords can bring your website up at the top. You want, when somebody searches something, normally we don't have a lot of time. When I search on the web, I should be able to find what I'm looking for as quick as possible. Normally, very few, except researchers, will drill deep and all that to find something more complex. But people normally go at what they find at face value. If I look for something, what appears in the first few searches, that's what I'll actually click on and go to. So the World Wide Web or the internet has made it much more easier for people to be able to reach and even diverse markets, or people who are even far away from you, you are able to sell. Today, if you think about real estate, at places like Cape Town, people buy properties when they are not even here, international people. In Pretoria, for instance, we have a lot of embassies around here. You'd find that they look for properties before somebody gets posted here to come and work for an embassy. They will look for a property while they are still in their own country. This is all online. So the question is, who do they find first? Are you well positioned that they should be able to find you? One of the ways, and I think maybe has not been explored much, is that as an individual, as much as advertisements go towards an estate agency or a particular product, which is a house and all that, how about you yourself as an estate agent? Are you marketing yourself? Are you on LinkedIn, for instance, where people can be able to find you? I get messages all the time on LinkedIn, people I do not know asking about property, because I've now updated my profile to say this is what I do relating to property. So those are some of the things that we can be able to position ourselves. Is that a hand or a question or comment? Yanis? Okay, Yanis Weber.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Do you have something to say?
No, my hand wasn't up.
Oh, I see. You're. If you can please go to mute. Thank you. All right. Okay, so in terms of media, we've spoken about the internet. There's direct mail, which is an average response rate for direct mail. It's about 1%. This depends on the offer, the mailing list, and the target audience, the creativity behind how the direct mail piece looks, and the timing of the mailing. So this could actually work very well in terms of your emails, for instance, how you are able to structure them. We have tools like what they call this, not SurveyMonkey, but yeah, the same brand of Monkey. They do have a mailing tool that you can be able to use, design a template that you can be able to send to your clients. Maybe like an article, for instance, like a blog. It's one of the ways you can be able to use. Okay, your classified advertisement. I see some of this still actually happens even now. Your press releases, that could be one of the medias to be able to use. Your product reviews. Magazines have product review editors that view it is an article or a column, and this can be provide great exposure. So normally Property 24, for instance, they have an expose on newspapers. I don't know if people still read physical newspapers. Can I see by show of hands those who still read Sunday papers or everyday newspapers? Yeah, current. I see you are still current. Yeah. Thank you, current. Okay, I see. So where do you guys consume your news? Is it Twitter? Sulet, where do you consume your news?
You just speak.
On social media. That's
Social
free
media.
and the easiest to access.
Ah, okay. So you don't buy a newspaper anymore.
Did you hear that?
Do you still buy a newspaper?
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you, Rich.
I said on social media, that's the easiest to access and obviously for free, in a way.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, so that's how things have changed. Thank you, Sulet. People hardly actually do that, but the product reviews, I see that for property, Property 24 does have an expose. Companies like your some of the big companies like, what do you call this? Sorry, my mind is failing me. But some of the big estate agencies, you'd find that they would have an expose or they have a booklet that they will be able to distribute to their own people or constituency. Radio, it is a good way to reach a large audience. If you have a broad-based marketing strategy and are marketing a mainstream product, you can be able to use radio. It can be costly, but not as expensive as television. And the key is repetition in popular listening hours. So a specific hour of the day, you'd find that there are many people, afternoon drive or the morning shows, you'd find that there are many people listening at that time. Of course, television, we spoke about it, that it can be quite expensive. I still wonder to date, clientele, man, those guys advertise and on TV and on popular shows. It's amazing. And throughout the day, if you still watch normal TV, you'll probably meet them throughout the day, and you'll get to know those guys, Lydian Dube and the gentleman, very well, because that's what they will always be appearing. I don't know how much their marketing budget is, but it must be huge. This is a very specialized form of marketing, and that is normally left to specialized advertising companies to be able to design. There's a good activity here that you can actually look at. Reflect back on your own working environment and do the following. List the marketing media method used in your working environment. Does it work? Give a motivation for your answer. And just go through this. These are easy activities. But they are actually even more interesting when you are working as a group, because it puts you in the process of thinking. Like I said yesterday, some of the things, it's things that we take for granted. We look down upon, but they are actually very effective. And if we could be able to drill deep, if we start applying in the context of learning, we'll realize that, actually, I know this. I just never thought of it that way, or I never had a word to define what it's all about. So marketing, advertising, it's all around us. It's something that we encounter on a daily basis, and we are done with our marketing mix or our 7 Ps. And then we'll go to the next process, part of the process or next step, which is budget, payback, analysis, and calendar. Any comments on the 7 Ps before we move on to budget? Anyone? Okay. Maxwell, anything you want to say before we move to the next part?
No. I'm happy with the way you were explaining it, and yeah, I'm following.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So maybe let's do a bit of an engagement before I move to the next one. If think with me here. If you think about, let me see if I can open. Okay, let me just do this. So we've got price, we've got promotion, we've got physical evidence, we've got people, we've got product, we've got process. These are the 7 Ps. So if you were to think about any agency and you tell me in their marketing, what do they emphasize on? Where is their main focus? Is it price? Is it the product? Is it people? Is it physical evidence? Is it promotion? Is it process? Or is it a place? If we can give an example around this, I'll ask just a few people. So for instance, one of them is lead home that we spoke about earlier. Rina, you can tell us about Pomet. Where is your focus when it comes to marketing? Is your emphasis more on the process, the product, people, promotion, physical or physical evidence, or price? Where is the main focus? and where is the main. I mean, let's just get into the thinking mode for a moment. Yeah, Rina, you'll come in terms of format. Anybody else can be able to come in. Who is ready? Who's confident enough to start?
Okay, I will start on this one. Moses, thank you. I think at the moment, you know, we all are looking for products, and how do we get the product? I think our advertising that goes out, quite often we put it out, is that we target the sellers, so that is like the people. And that brings you the product. So I think we stick to the product, and instead of going to the buyers, we target the sellers, because if you've got a good product, that's easy to advertise and to sell. Is that
right?
help?
Yes. So your biggest focus is you go to the sellers, you find the right products. Do you choose what type of products you want? If I'm looking at Pomet, what's your emphasis? Is it quality products? Is it what type? Give me an example in terms of houses. What are you looking at? If you were there are 100 sellers or millions of sellers, what type of houses would you be going for that you would want to have in your own stock?
Okay, first we'll go to the easiest place to go, and where it's free, is to Property 24 to have a look. What is your best? Do some study. Is that in what range is the current buyers? So if your current buyers is in the more affordable range, obviously you will go to areas where it's more affordable properties that you will target for. But you know, you take anything that's available on the books. Because if somebody wants to sell, you take it in and try to sell it and advertise it. But your focus is on doing that is where you must do a proper study, market study first, before you start with your promotion.
Thank you. Market study, we'll come to that. I'll touch a bit, hopefully I'll have time to touch a bit on that, on how you can be able to conduct your market study, especially if your emphasis is place. How do you choose the place? Okay, anybody else? So for Pomet, it's product. Their focus is more on the product, and they look more for sellers. They believe that if they have the right product, it will be easy to get the customers to buy. Let's go. Anyone else who want to give it a try? You can choose an estate agent or the estate agency that you are part of. Where do you focus on in terms of where is the emphasis more on in terms of this piece? Come on. Waynand, can you help us? Are we still together? Ludwe, Pagate. Yeah, today I want to know if people are really with me or they've just logged in and went somewhere else. Yes, Maxwell.
Hello, Mr.
Yeah,
Sarah, I didn't hear you.
I'll say people,
Okay.
because you need to have a target population before you can launch your product.
Right.
And then you need to have the idea, like the kind of target population that you're targeting. What do they like? Then the most important thing, launching your product, you must make sure that the quality of your product, it's a top notch.
Right.
Because you don't want complaints tomorrow to ruin your reputation.
Right. Okay. So,
man, that I had.
All right. Good. Thank you, Maxwell. So you would be able to focus more on people. This is your clients that are going to buy the product. and the
Yeah.
product that you are going to choose. So that will be more, your marketing will be who is going to buy our product and how do we appeal to those kind of people.
At the area where I'm staying around Boxback, most of the people who are buying properties now are ladies. And if you look at the age, is like somewhere between 24 and 35. So it's most ladies who are buying houses in this area, especially your Windmill Park, your Don Park, your Park Red. It's
Interesting.
most is ladies who are buying properties than men.
Thank you. I like that. So this is a gentleman who has defined who he's targeting, and he's specific. He says most of the people who are buying houses in the area, it's ladies, whether it's single ladies or it's ladies who are married, but at least he has been able to zoom in to be able to say these are ladies. So it means how you appeal, how you stage, if you were to stage a house, for instance, for viewing, you'll make sure that it appeals to a lady, the smell, the flowers that you are going to put, the bathroom, because they will need to, the kitchen needs to be top notch, because women will definitely want a kitchen that is proper. Thank you, Maxwell. I think that is definitely a great way to be able to market your product ultimately. Thank you. Okay, last one. We've done people, we've done products. Let's pick, let's see. Lord Lude, Pakate, you wanted to say something, sorry, before we move on. Okay, I think we've lost Pakate. Okay, let's continue. If there's no one, we'll continue with this going forward.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I will say promotion for SIF, because in my area where I'm staying in Pretoria, every corner it's like they are spending more money on promotional items, because every corner you'll see their board. So yes, I'll say promotion for SIF. Thank you.
Which area is that?
It's in Sunnyside.
Sunnyside. So SIF, it's actually very prominent in Sunnyside. It's actually interesting, because I thought SIF, it's more prominent in affluent areas.
Yeah, no, currently they want to dominate this area. Because previously you will see Yurko, but now it's like Yurko, they are no longer having momentum, if I'll put it in that, but yes.
Thank you, Vus. Promotion. So they put their marketing promotion everywhere. So if you think in that particular area, you think, I need to buy a house, I want to rent a flat, you would definitely be thinking SIF, because it's all over the place. I like that example. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Can we just give this gentleman and the lady a round of applause just to encourage them? I think I'm happy that people are with me. Please, shall we? Thank you. That seems better. We were trying to wake up those who are sleeping. Let's continue. Thank you, guys, and the lady. Budget, payback analysis, and calendar. Marketing plan, budget. So your marketing plan ultimately needs to have a budget. It costs money to be able to put an advert. It costs money to do promotions. It costs money to be able to splash, to be visible everywhere you are. It costs money. So it's not something that just happens. There has to be a budget that go with every plan. Part of the planning activity of project is estimating cost, making a projection and managing the project that it stays within meters of a set in a planning set in the planning stages. This is important because remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a business at the end of the day. You are a business. As an entrepreneur, you need to be able to plan your budget very well. Beside what the agency will be doing in terms of marketing, you yourself as an individual, as an estate agent, you need to be able to have a way to market yourself. And this is where the budget comes in, that whatever marketing plan you have as Vusi, as Waynand, as Richard, how do I make sure that people choose me among the different agents that are there all over the country? So it's important that you have a budget that goes with that and you stick within your budget, because properties don't sell as quick. So you may be waiting for a commission for a long time. If you don't plan very well, you can exhaust all your resources. So when we have an estimated cost, we assign value to a particular activity. Successful estimation takes into account the following things: the activity or the project objective and the outcome. The activities related to achieving these outcomes. How are we going to be able to achieve the outcomes that we want? Analyzing the historical costs for identical activities. So things that you have done before, you can be able to help, they can help you to be able to project, because you know that this is how much we've spent before. Maybe you put an increment to say, if last year the price of this particular activity was like this year we can actually have an increment of or inflation rate increase of maybe 6%, for instance. When developing and analyzing or evaluating the budget, the following question needs to be able to be asked: what needs to be done and how long is it going to take? Who's going to do it? Is a provision made for the people with the necessary skills and knowledge, and for the outcome, for outsourcing to the different experts where required? When must it be done by? So this part of human resource or the necessary skills required, it's important, because you could do something, and if you've got somebody who doesn't know what they are doing, you'll find that that money is as good as being wasted. So you need to be able to know, to have that in mind. When must it be done by? If timing is everything in business, if you are late, you can have the best marketing strategy, but if it's late, it's not in the right timing, you could miss it. How is it to be done, and what equipment is needed? For instance, those are some of the things that will be able to be able to help. How and what type of things do you need? Must it be bought or rented or leased? It's important to be able to clear that. Where must it be done? What facilities are required? Are they available or must they be rented? If you cover that, it will help you to be able to evaluate your budget very well. Those are the questions that you need to ask. Payback analysis. The payback analysis refers to the projection of whether the marketing plan or specific marketing programs in the plan will generate revenue in excess of expenses. So think about it this way. When we market something, what is the ultimate goal? That the product must be bought. Somebody needs to be able to buy the product. There must be revenue that gets generated. An objective of every business is revenue. If it's not making money, Dandy mentioned yesterday that there are things that two things that are important. It's either you are selling or innovating. Anything else, it's cost. So if you don't think, you need to be able to think about some of those things properly. That is there going to be, how much are we going to make after we have expensed this much money through marketing? Can we be able to make money? Some marketings will just be will be a loss if there's not clear understanding of how much you are supposed to be able to pay back. The payback analysis should review both short run, long run, projected sales, and associated cost to estimate the initial program payback. Payback analysis can be calculated by analyzing the following figures: net sales and revenue, How many sales are we going to how many products are we going to sell, and how much revenue are we going to generate? So with sales versus revenue, it's interesting that you could have a mix where if you sell 2 houses that are worth 20 million, you might have reached your target for the year. Or for you to reach the target, you may need to sell 20 small houses that are worth maybe 600,000 or R1 million. So it's a bit of a mix. You need to be able to determine, how do I mix up the different products that I'm going to be able to have? And that will help you even to define your marketing plan in such a way that you are able to know that this is where, if I put more effort here, I can be able to get more money and reach my target, because my marketing plan is very clear. Sometimes it will be the short run versus the long run. The long run would be, maybe now we put more effort on marketing now, so that when the tide turns, maybe in summer, for instance, we can be able to sell houses, and we make sure that we get our marketing out right now. So that's a long-term one of it could be, how do we retain the customers that are there, especially when it comes to maybe rental, for instance. You want to be able to make sure that there's a line that I read on Lead Home. Again, I'm emphasizing some of these things. They give 25% discount when you come back. If they sell your house and you buy from them, again, they give you 25% discount on maybe your whatever fees that may be incurred. So that's a strategy to make sure that the same person, they are able to retain them and get more business from the same. So that's a payback analysis. So you look at your profit and loss, your gross margins, all direct marketing costs associated with the sale of the product to the customer, less promotion and advertising. So you will determine some of that. The second one under budget, payback and analysis is marketing calendar. After the marketing plan and the budget has been finalized, it is time to summarize the plan on a single page. This one-page plan should be in a form of a marketing calendar that will serve as a visual summary of the marketing plan for designated periods. For instance, you can see the example here, which you can be able to see: marketing program, ongoing price items, when, the month, and all that. You can be able to do this. So it helps you to be able to track, know exactly when is something done. It's clear. You can see marketing program, measure, promotions, clearance sale, half price, Easter sales, youth day sale. Like tomorrow it's youth day. What is happening? What type of marketing do we have around that? So while others are out there, estate agents that are busy, they will be out with their tents, because they know that people are actually working. Some people, families, have enough time to be together. They can be able to do views and all those kind of things. What type of youth day things will you have to be able to market yourself tomorrow? And yeah, maybe it's the right question to ask. Rina, what's happening tomorrow? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer. Okay, and we do execution, which is step number 7, which is how do we execute the plan? Successful marketing plan execution generally requires the coordination of many areas and participation and support of several people or divisions in the organization. Ongoing follow-up and review of the implementation is essential, as regular intervals, to ensure all role players, understanding their role and the importance of their contribution, have the required tools to make things happen. What are they actually doing? What needs to be done in a manner that is intended? Receive feedback from the results of their activities. So it's an ongoing process. Execution requires presence. You need to be able to engage with the different players. Who's leading this plan? That's important. The last step on the process is evaluation. Evaluation refers to evaluation of plan and tools before large-scale implementation. Some questions to ask before implementing the process or evaluation strategy are as follows. What do I want to do with the information once I have received it? Your goal and your purpose. What is the risk of not having the information? What is the cost of obtaining reliable information? What are the time constraints? How valid and translatable is the testing environment? Following is these are the list of the elements you may need to consider testing: positioning concept, product testing, brand name testing, promotion testing, advertising message communication, media tests, sales trend comparison, sales growth versus profitability rate. Those are some of the things that you will need to be able to check. And this is the activity. So after having gone through the process, I want us to touch on developing a business plan. Before we go there, it will be quite quick. We'll touch on the quick things. But before we go there, any questions so far? Any comment? Any question? Okay. All right. Shall we? Oh, I see there's a hand. CM. Current?
Yes, Moses.
Yes, go
it's
ahead.
actually not a question. It's actually not a question. It's just a comment. To actually attest on what we have touched. There's this other acquaintance of mine who happens to be a principal for a certain estate agency company somewhere around KZN, or should I say Durban. So as part of his marketing strategy, what the guy does, when it comes to you as a seller, he says to you, you know what, give me 120 days to sell your property. Give me your property and give me 120 days to sell that property. If ever I can go beyond that 120 days without, selling that property, it means I'm going to pay you, or should I say, I'm going to pay you a certain amount. And then what he said to me, I asked him, okay, how much do you pay? And I said to me, I can pay up to, 6 months bond repayments on the selling price of the property, which means if he fails to sell that property within 120 days, he's the one who's actually supposed to pay the seller. So I think that's another marketing strategy, that is actually working for some of the people who are in the real estate industry.
Thank you, Current. That's a powerful one. That's a man who trusts himself. He knows that he deliver. Because such a problem, a problem. If you have to pay somebody's bond, that's a hefty one.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing. Look, it's marketing. He trusts himself. It means he has evaluated. He knows what it will take for him to be able to sell that particular property, and that's important. A promise to a seller goes a long way. Everybody who knows they want to sell quick, they will choose that gentleman definitely. Thank you, Current. Tulani?
Hi,
Tulani?
Mr. Lupon.
Yes.
I just have a question, maybe two. I was thinking a bit slow, but I'm gonna take you back, if you don't mind, to the 7 Ps. If you have referrals from clients, where would that fall under?
Sorry, Mr. Telefono. Sorry, Mr. Telefono. I can't hear you on my side. I think your mic is on mute.
Oh, sorry, my apology. Yeah, anyone who wants to give it an attempt. I was talking, but maybe let's allow somebody who wants to give an attempt. If you depend more on referrals, where would you fall under the 7 Ps? Any taker? Yes, sir.
Perhaps I didn't get the question right. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is the question. Maybe just repeat that, perhaps.
So my understanding, that if I may appraise the question, is that if a person his business is driven more by referrals, so somebody refers somebody else, where would it fall here on the 7 Ps? The marketing, will it be is it people, is it promotion? What will it be amongst this? Is it process, is it products, referral?
It's people, Lufuno, currently.
People. I think so. So it's networks. So you would have people that will refer somebody else, maybe based on the fact that they trust you, maybe based on the fact that you deliver, like the gentleman from Durban. What else? Promotion? Could it be?
That's why I was confused, because to me, I was thinking it's between promotion, because like when people have on a website clients that are having a comment on the product or service or the referral, and they say, I had a great experience with this product, but it's also physical evidence that probably people do use and buy your product. So I'm not sure.
Right. I think it's more about people, because people touches on how people feel about you, how the treatment that they've received. Customer service falls under people, right? So promotion, if we were to put it on promotion, it will specifically be saying, if you refer me to somebody, I'll give you this. For instance, you know Uber, right? Uber and Bolt, right? They normally have coupons that you can be able to send to somebody else, or if you use Luno, for instance, Luno can allow you to send money or Bitcoin to somebody else, to allow them to be able to start. So that's part of promotion, but it's also referral. So they attract you by giving you something to refer somebody else. So it's a mix. Remember, all these things, 3 Ps. That's why they call it a mix. They don't always work alone. It's a combination of different things. Where it's black, they normally say the right way market is when you can find the sweet spot among all these 7. So I don't know if there's anybody who has a comment who wants to add from what I've responded. But thanks. I think it's a good question to ask. Yes. Anyone else who wants to add? I see a hand from Maxwell.
Yeah, I'll say people and the process. Because in this nature of business, like the example that Karen gave us, you need to have a budget, and you need to have to be proactive, not reactive. And that's a good strategy. Like I mean, you have to look at the direct relationship between the cost input and the quantity of the output. So
right.
You need to have a strong budget in order to your business needs. So your cost expenditure needs to be like yeah, very good. Like the guy was saying, I'll pay your bond for 6 months. Obviously, he knows that in that 100 days, or within 50 days, he will sell a house. So now which means that guy is got resources that he's using. That's what I'm saying. The process, the people, then they'll go together.
Thank you. So thank you, Maxwell, for that. So process, if I were to give an example with process, right? Process would be, how easy is it for me to access the product? Do you understand? How easy is it? For instance, process normally works on customers, on service related type of business. For instance, if you were to think about, and I'm using wide example, you'll forgive me, Tesla. You can be able to buy a Tesla online. I'm not sure if they've started it in South Africa to introduce that, but Tesla, they've decided that instead of focusing on physical showrooms or where people go to the dealership, though they have some of them, but will make it easy for a person to be able to order a car online. I think BMW has. You can be able to order a car and it gets delivered to you online like you're ordering pizza. What did they emphasize on? Process. So they make it easier for you to be able to get access the product that you want. So that's what process will be looking at. For instance, turnaround time, like the gentleman in Durban, the turnaround time, it means the process is quicker. He's found a way to make sure that it gets to happen within a specific short period of time. Thank you. Any other thing before we move on? We've got a short time. I want to catch up and then we can conclude.
Sorry,
Yes,
my
Tulani.
second and last question.
Yes, sir.
You were talking about the budgeting and planning thereof. And I was thinking of this home valuation thing. Can you use a strategy where you offer maybe a seller, like to evaluate their home just to capture the leads for selling? Obviously, it will have some cost implications. But how effective is that? Has anyone used it to offer home valuations to capture the seller as leads? Is that effective? Is it anything that's used anyway?
Thank you. I've got veterans here and maybe they can be able to assist and jump onto that. Rina, Numisa, and others, please come in if you can.
I can come in, Mouse.
Yes.
Yes, it's a standard practice that we advertise to say that free valuation, or we can come and value your property. As an estate agent, but that we must emphasize, it is sales valuation. We are not sworn valuators, we are sales valuators. So we can give a sales valuation. And then you use this opportunity as well to convince the seller either to give you a sale mandate if he's happy with your service up to then. And that's part of your professionalism, how you come over and if I can use the word, catch the seller into your business for selling. We do not really charge anything for that. Although if somebody asked me to come and do a valuation, say for a late estate or, trust, sometimes the attorneys needs a valuation, a sales valuation. Obviously for that you charge because normally you don't get it as a sale. It's an extra service that you offer. But on the ordinary catching the sellers, if they want to see is their property valued enough for them to sell. And you must remember when they are sellers, you must also ask where are they going to move to. Maybe they want to upgrade and you can actually have two deals if you are fast enough to get him onto your side. If that answers the question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rina.
Thank you, Rina. There's a hand by Ludwe. Yes, Ludwe. Ludwe, Takade.
Sorry, I was on mute. Can you hear me now? Hi, Moses. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, sorry, I was on mute. So I just want to find out, in real estate, is there a marketing strategy that is not allowed? For example, in the loan industry, one of the market strategies that is not allowed is the whereby is the strategies like no blacklisted people. I mean, the one strategies like blacklisted people are welcome, or else the one that says no credit check. We don't do credit check, and then we can come and then we can offer you loans. So I just want to find out, in terms of when it comes to real estate, is there a strategy, marketing strategy that is not allowed?
Moses, can I answer that one?
Yes, please.
Yes, yes, there isn't something that's not allowed. You are not allowed to advertise a fake property, meaning that you make a property up in your mind that you know there's maybe buyers for it, or you want to catch a certain group of buyers, and you advertise that property as if it exists, but it doesn't exist. So you're not allowed to do that. So you must only advertise the real properties. Yeah, and then remember, we are not FPS. We will talk about that. That is your financial service providers. We are not that, and we cannot advertise no credit checks because that's against the Credit Act.
Okay.
Does that answer the questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. No false advertising. You cannot claim that advertise a property that you don't have a mandate on. That's unless if it's through the agency, but ultimately you're supposed to advertise or market the property that you have the mandate for. We had a situation some time back at the Dawn. I think Dendi will remember. We found a guy who took our adverts, and then he marketed himself. He marketed, and then he was collecting deposits on our behalf, and we didn't know this guy. So he basically went and took our adverts, took everything, the pictures and all that, and did the marketing on social media, on different, I think, different platforms. And we ultimately found out that this person is actually, we don't know, and people are actually calling that person, and some of them sending deposits. It's very unfortunate. So, but that is also not allowed. Thank you. Shall we move on? Okay. I'm gonna attempt to move with this on the time that we have, developing a business plan. On the little time that we have, I'm gonna try to cover this up very quickly. Okay, so let's start here. Okay, there we go. So a business plan, it's more or less of what we're doing in terms of the marketing plan and all that. It actually plays a pivotal role, and marketing, it's part of it, even in the business plan. So I just want to unpack it. A business plan, it's any plan that works for a business to look ahead, allocate resources, focus on key points, and prepare for problem and opportunities. Business planning is about results. Need to make the content of your plan match your purpose. Vital for running, it is important or vital for running a business, whether or not the business needs new loan, new investments, and new focus. So mostly people prepare business plan because they want to apply for a loan or something like that. But a business plan, it's important also to drive the direction of the company. Where are you going? What do you want to be able to achieve? And what are the goals that you have set and the objectives that you are going to achieve? So it gives direction and a roadmap for that particular business. Business needs a business plan to optimize growth and development according to priorities. And that's a key word, priorities. I thought we'll be able to do, Rina, sorry to digress a little bit. Rina talk about market valuation versus, so there's valuation of the valuers, property valuers that normally work with the banks. Companies emphasize there are companies that will pay for that to be able to happen. But as estate agents, you should be able to do market valuation, which is basically to say, and we use tools like Lightstone, TPN, and all that. I was hoping they'll be able to touch on that, but all in good time. I think we'll find them to be able to do that. Otherwise, Rina will say I've not fit the lesson for the day. But let's continue. Steps in business plan. We have research. We look at the legal requirements, product, service idea, market analysis. We've got your planning and preparation, your vision, mission, strategic objective, your operational objectives, very critical. We've got the development, which is number 4, operational plan, financial plan, and marketing plan. Update, present, pilot, lessons learned, and update. Implementation, that's operational schedule. That's how you are going to implement it on the ground, when it has to be specific, and resource allocation. How much are you going to spend to be able to implement what you said you want to do? Review operational targets, financial plan, return on investment. So that's part of the review that we need to be able to check and see, did we do well? What is our return on investment? What is our financial plan, projection versus actuals? And then your operational target, what were you targeting? Are you targeting to be able to achieve? Stepping in research in a business plan. So these are the different things that you can be able to look at relating to research. It refers back to your vital organization you have chosen. Okay, so there's a theme that has been going on from the top to choose an organization, a virtual organization that you can be able to use and implement the different things, your marketing plan and all that. So that's the exercise. If you look at the exercises that we have done, it's going to be looking at some of those things going all the way down, even up to here. All these factors determined your market strategy and develop the product or service demand in a specific target market. So this is the activity that relates to research. So you can look at that, the name of the business, the line of the business idea, the market analysis, and the legal requirements. Number 2, planning and preparing a business plan. You have your vision, strategic statement that describes the perceived idealistic situation that an organization wants to strive towards. It reflects the dream of the founder or the leader, for example, to be the largest retailer of automobile in SA, or the maker of the finest chocolate candies in Limpopo. One of the things that I've learned in strategic planning when it comes to a vision, normally people distinguish between vision and mission. So your vision be a projected dream, but people use the word to. I've learned that the best way, it's not, when it comes to a vision, you don't say to. It has to be definite. It's the picture of what you want the business to be at the end of the day. So whether it's in 5 years, there has to be a print of that picture of saying, how should my business be? Normally, it's way long term. It's the ultimate dream of the business. What does the business, is the business supposed to look like? It's something that you project into the future, it's not normally short term. So because otherwise it will be easy to be able to achieve and it will keep on changing. However, it's not abnormal for companies to change their vision. Sometimes, I mean, even organizations like government departments, every 5 years, somebody comes in, change the vision, their mission statement, the vision, the mission statement, and all that changes. Big organizations, they'll have a vision, same vision maybe for many years, but if they change the strategy, even the vision will probably change. How the company was maybe when it started, like Coca-Cola, for instance, it's no longer the same as what it is now. Just hold on a second. My apology for that. So the vision will be a roadmap that you can be able to see where you are going. Your mission or mission statement. A strategy looks inward at the organization, but it also looks outward at the competition and at the environment and the business climate. To be the largest retailer, for example, of automobile in South Africa, you might have to decide whether it is better strategy for you to buy other retailers, try to grow a single retailer, or a combination of both. So you have the vision there, what you want the organization to be, your dream. Your mission would be what you are going to do to achieve that vision. So that's important. So that's why it will say two, because it's the action. Your mission, it's the action. It's what you are going to do. Your operational plan or tactics, how will you achieve your strategy and by when? So this one is specific. It has the time, the timeline. While your vision could just be wide, it doesn't have to say in 20 years or in 10 years, but your operational plan needs to be, or your objective needs to, or your goal needs to be very specific as to when. In 2020, in 2022, as a company or as a group, we are looking at 2023 rather, a billion rand portfolio by 2023. So that's something that we are looking at achieving. So at a time, working on it as a 5-year plan, it's clear by 2023, that's all we are looking for. I think it's driven by that goal to be able to, by 2023, we need to have a billion rand portfolio. And part of it is the systems that we have created and the companies that we had complement one another. They are all geared towards us achieving the ultimate goal. Thank you. There is your activity relating vision and your mission. You look at the different examples that we have. Anyone who knows the mission of their company, those who are part of the estate agency, what is mission statement? Do you know? Or your vision? Those who are already attached to an estate agency. Anyone? I saw at Capitec, is it Capitec or Checkers? I think it's Checkers or Capitec, one of the two. They actually had written small like pamphlets which have the mission statement and their vision. Everyone had to have it. The service consultants, they had to have it on their desk, every one of them. And that was part of emphasizing it. So it's important. If you don't know it in your company, believe me, it's very difficult to be able to align what you are doing to what the company actually is supposed to achieve. They say that people could be working and doing a lot of things, but they could actually be going amiss or the opposite direction of what the company is all about in the first place. So as leaders, as entrepreneurs, it's important, though it applies to the company, you can also apply it. What is your mission and your vision as an individual? Dendi emphasizes a lot about that. Our 10-year plan, what do we want to achieve? And that's important, because if you have people surrounded with people who don't have a direction and a sense of purpose and vision, you are most likely to have people who do aimless activities. They can't even evaluate whether they've achieved something or not, because it was never aligned to anything in the first place. So it's important to have that for the company, to know for the company that we are aligned to, and it helps you to know, is it, if the vision is not aligned with what you want to achieve as an individual, maybe that's not the right place to be in. I see somebody is leaving, and maybe it's my cue to say we need to get this going. Thank you. When it comes to objective, there's what we call SMART objectives. The word SMART, it's simple. It has to be measurable. It has to be achievable. It has to be relevant, and it has to be time bound. So there must be a specific time. The time frame must be realistic, but pays so that the initiative has maximum impact. If a flu pandemic breaks out, the objective must be to detect it and in a short term, contain it in the medium term, and prevent it in the long term. But the overall time frame would be driven by the size and the agency of the intervention. So these are important. So you've got your company vision, your strategic objective that you can be able to put in. So those are critical in terms of your business plan. Your operational plan, you can be able to break down what we call a work breakdown structure, which helps you to outline the different activities that are there. Your schedule, it is your timeline versus your activity. Start at a proposed time, and when your resource allocation, how much resources are you putting? That is human resource, administrative, material, equipment, and physical resources. That's important. Development of your business plan. We have a financial plan, which is your budget, your cash flow, and your balance sheet. Some of these things you'll be able to get when we send. Actually, it's already, I think it's already uploaded, if I'm not mistaken, on your LMS. So you can go through this in more detail. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if I've left anything, but there's not much really that we can be able to cover. In summary, the business plan will be hard to implement unless it's simple, specific, realistic, and complete. A good plan will need someone to follow up and check on it. Plan depends on the human element. So the follow-up very critical. So you can see the diagram that is here. It's the plan process, not the plan. So planning, it's a process. It's not just a plan. So it has to follow this. You plan what the results, actions to be taken, and the follow-up. Plan what results you want, actions to be taken, and the follow-up, like that, or the other way around. Some of the clues to implementing includes, is the plan simple? Is it easy to understand and act on it? Does it communicate its content or easily and practically? A good book says, write the vision down so that he who reads it may run with it. It helps when it's written down. Somebody can be able to read it. You can be able to read it. It's visible. It's actually mandatory be able to have. One of the time we're appointing somebody who's doing a marketing intern at our company, and I asked, what are the things that needs to be improved about this place? So these are people who are encountering for the first time for the interview. And she mentioned that on the outside, there's good brain. We can see your company. When the moment I enter, I know where I am. Can't tell that it's you. I can't see even the directors, can't see your vision. I can't see any pictures of the products you do. And I think Womata Mera and Rina, that's still a challenge. We need to be able to ensure we have such things in the offices. So something that is seen and visible helps to drive and remind people of what this is all about. So pictures of what you do, of your vision. Have your vision on the wall, your mission, the key objectives, your values. Have them where people can be able to see it. Sometimes client, by reading through your values, they can already say, you know what, I want to work with people like this. And that's important. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap from my side. And if there's anything, any addition, anyone who wants to say something, this is your turn. And I think probably cut a lot. And I hope today, from now on, we can be able to have a proper market plan. We can put together a business plan that's simple and easy and realistic that can drive every activity that we are going to do going forward. Thank you. I'll open up for Rina. Any comment from anyone? Vomatamera, Ausnumisa, and it's your turn.
Thanks for Ramabrana. I can only imagine how much data one needs to go through to be able to process all these many different things. The simplicity of the marketing plan, as the case may be, in my view, there is no perfect marketing strategy. If we can just start there. There's just a plan that you try and you find work, and it just works for you. A lot more often we might find ourselves, all of these are mainly just anecdotes. Much of the many different marketing plans that people have come up with, they end up not necessarily being the best ones that end up coming out, but it's usually the ones that end up coming out of the many plans that you have, and some of them are a lot more accidental. I don't know if I'm making sense. So if we can try and relate, and I want to almost recommend, there's a book called The Greatest Salesman, written by Og Madino. I would like to recommend that anyone who is really, really interested in marketing, in fact, it's 2 books, and perhaps I can send the link. Those who have Audible, you can get the links on Audible. And then we can take it from there. There are 2 books that I would like to recommend for everyone who is really interested in crafting their own strategy, crafting their own plans, and all of that. But before I could go any further with maybe even making the recommendation on the books, let me start by saying that the whole idea why we set out all the great visions or goals that we would like to achieve, it's not so much whether we'll achieve them or not, but what are we becoming when we set out to get there. So if we can understand that, you might find that when Pam Golding started, she didn't think she would be going to overseas as quickly as she managed to go in her business, for instance, but she knew that she was going to be the best. No one really sets out goals to say, I'm setting my goals to be the second best. No one. Now, if that is true, it means that every single time when we set goals or marketing plans and all of that, there would always be other people who are competing with us. So, in other words, if everyone else is thinking, I'm the best, who then is going to be the last? Who then chooses to say, it's fine, you can go ahead? That's why they say advantage in business is temporary. So it's never a place where one, even if you have the best marketing strategy that you can come up with, no, don't rest there. Don't sleep over and think that now you've made it, you've sailed it. No, you've got to continue marketing. There is a very interesting analogy of the founder of Chappies, the bubble gum. Back in the days, Chappies was the biggest thing. If you still remember, the older people, they would remember Chappies. I don't think they still make Chappies. I don't know. But he was found in an airplane one day, and one of the passengers sitting next to him, he said, "Why is it so that you keep on advertising your company even when it's so famous?" And the guy said, "You see, I continue advertising or marketing my company or my Chappies, even though it's already famous, for the same reason that the pilot keeps the engine on even when we are already up on the air." Now you can imagine the whole style of "did you know" inside the bubble gum or the wraps of Chappies. Those were creative genius of its founder, for instance. So it's an exciting task that is ever ending, that is continuously requiring to be reinvented on an ongoing basis. The moment you stop, that's when your business and all and every single thing, you will come up with the most expensive plan and it just doesn't work. Don't stop. Try it again. Do another one. Find a few combinations. Talk more to people. There is no one who can guarantee a marketing plan that works. In as much as there is no one who can say they can guarantee that your vision, your plan that you have to say, ours, for instance, as the BeMore is to say, we want to have R1 billion worth of portfolio of property by 2023. We are now left with 2 years and we are only at 200 million rands. Listen, we have started now doing more offers and strategic partnerships than we ever have in the last 7 years. In the last 7 years, we would use a stop-start button. So in other words, you do this project, you move to the next and all of that. And what we have also learned as well is that every single person who knows about our business wants to do business with us, which brought us to a conclusion that the only people who are not doing business with us are the people who don't know as yet about us. That statement, it makes all the difference, because all it means is I've never met anyone who doesn't want to do business with us, except those I have not met yet. What if it is true even in all our businesses that perhaps the reason why we don't have as much business, and I'm not saying we don't have as much business, some of us probably have a more business problem, which is a good problem. But there are some who literally just, well, as it is, some of us are probably even just considering a career change. I don't know, but I've seen some very nice and interesting, great people here, great businessmen and women in this platform. So I'm sure what I'm talking about is not a strange thing. But let me try and get back to the point. The first point is when we set the goals that we need, maybe in marketing or goals to reach a certain number of people or targets in terms of market share and all of that. Let it be that it's something that really shocks us, that really surprises us, because if we don't, the problem is if you set it so low, you might even end up in depression because you set it so low and you hit, and now you're like, what then? But imagine if those goals, those targets are so high up there that when you wake up every single, for me, I always say every single time I wake up, where is the billion? You know, because it just makes me want to go out and get it. And sometimes because it's so majestic. Right now it sounds a lot more tangible because we have been working on it and talking about it for the last 7 years. But in 2013, when we started, I had no idea how to achieve it, which brings me to my next thesis to say, if you set a goal or a target that you know how to achieve it, chances are that it's too small. If you know how to achieve a goal or a thing just at first hand, chances are that that goal is too small. And once you are done with that goal, you're probably going to get depressed because you would have aimed so low. That's the first part. The second part, as I said, there is no perfect marketing strategy. It's trial and error and repetition and reinvention and continuously so. The third thing is the whole idea of setting goals is not so much whether you can achieve them or not, but what are you becoming when you set out. The fourth thing I would like to just leave this podium with is the two books that I spoke about. One is by Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is an entrepreneur, a realtor for that matter, one of the outspoken, to a larger extent, overconfident guy that I've ever met. But you know what? He can back it up. The guy started from the bottom and he has been rising like nothing with over, I think it's worth well over 30, is it 300 million US dollars, for instance. Brilliant guy. He wrote a book called The 10 Times Rule. 10 Times Rule, if you can get your hands, I can send the link, but it's an Audible book. But just go to any store. If you have it already, let's just share some of the anecdotes or the stuff that he's talking about. That's a more contemporary version, particularly for someone who is in the same thing that we are doing. He says there's nothing more, there's not such a thing as overselling. Now, if you can do it 10 times, so in other words, if you have whatever brand you have, let it be that it's on people's faces in every single way possible. Sometimes people will end up buying on your business or on your product because they're just tired of listening to you, or they've just been seeing you so many times and it happens. It doesn't matter as long as they're buying. And that's why I said yesterday that in business, it's either you're selling or innovating. Every single thing else you're doing is a cost. So if you have spent the whole week and you have not innovated anything or you have not sold, just know that come month end, those bills are gonna come. They don't care how you feel about yourself. So either you're innovating or you're selling. The other book is by O.G. Madino. It's an old classic written in the oldest of time during the setting of Jesus. Very beautiful. You don't need to be a follower of Jesus to get the beauty of the book. You won't even know about that anyway. But it's set in the those time of like a good 2020 years ago. Beautiful book called The Greatest Salesman in the World. The Greatest Salesman in the World by O.G. Madino. So if you allow me, I can send some of those links. You can also search them out. And when you have time, get those books on your systems and listen to them, read them anytime, and let's have fun and let's all grow together. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matamela. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if there's any announcement, Rina, but the announcement that we gave yesterday is that Nedbank is coming next week. They're going to be with us. Please join us. We'll send out the invite, extend it even to others to explain the bond and all those things. But it's going to be exciting. It's good to have guests. Our voices get to be monotonous, but when we have a mix, it's more exciting. So get ready for that. Rina, any announcement? And otherwise it's a wrap from me in the sense of any.